We begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome to our second and final review of the week. Up here is Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mars-tered. It is not my pun; it is theirs. Like, so. That aside, this is, as you might be able to tell, a remastered version of Guerrilla. And indeed, let me preface this by saying there is a good chance a great many of you who are listening to this already have this in your Steam directory, because THQ Nordic has a habit of giving the remastered version of one of their games for free to those who owned the previous version. So if you had the Red Faction Guerrilla Steam edition, you have this.
And I was about to add, if you do a lot of Humble Bundles, one of the last THQ bundles, they gave out Red Faction Guerrilla.
Right. And it's been in other Humble Bundles.
Mm-hmm.
You probably picked this up already. So it's worth noting. If you haven't, well, we'll get to pricing when we get to the pricing section.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Red Faction Guerrilla is considered to be the high point of the Red Faction franchise for a few reasons. I'll also note that I was having some problems with my copy of the Remastered edition, which might be a fault of a laptop or any sort of varying reasons, because PC gaming. I have played like 40 hours of the original Steam edition, so even though it's been a while, I know the game.
Nothing seems to have changed content-wise.
Yeah, really the big thing when it comes to the remastered edition was graphical fidelity. Also getting this on new consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Red Faction Guerrilla is now available on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and the PC with better resolutions, up to 4K. So that seems to be the drive behind this particular remastered edition. Anyway,
don't you mean remastered edition?
I refuse to indulge that fucking pun anymore.
Get it? The joke is because Red Faction takes place on Mars or something.
Right.
Segue.
As you can probably see from the footage here, it's very, very red. As we noted in our Mars or Die review, the Martian landscape isn't the most beautiful to look at.
I thought I was in Arizona.
I was gonna say, unless you really like Arizona with maybe some cold.
Yeah, it's not helping things that the entire fucking game is just baked in that god-awful 7th generation aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look at your main character here. He is a fucking, like...
Oh, man, you mean it's Balding McPower armor? Well, not power armor, but...
Yeah, he's not a space marine. Like, his fucking, like, his miner's jacket or whatever here does give him a bit of unique flair design-wise, but that is it. Like, yeah, he is a 20 to 30, something-year-old, like, white man with brown hair, or he's bald. He's got a buzz cut, so he kind of fills both roles, shockingly. The point is, yeah, he is about as generic a main character as you can get in video gaming, especially from this era. compound that with, the game looks like it was developed with a realist brown, or in this case, red aesthetic. I mean, I'm not asking for pastels here, but yeah, this is a very gritty game. And of course, it's got the fucking piss filter. Like,
Because
oh boy.
reality is yellow.
Yeah, it's like, oh boy, everything looks very yellow as well, like the lighting and such. So, just say I'm not a fan of this particular aesthetic is sugarcoating it. That being said, this is still a tremendous game, just not in the way it looks. Like, the reasons why this is considered to be the best Red Faction game are twofold. First, it's because it's the open world one. So if you've ever played a GTA game, you basically know what you're getting into here. Like, as it very much apes the GTA style, instead of, say, like the Ubisoft Tower style that kind of dominates the present day open world genre. Now, this is very much do missions, gain influence, conquer territory sort of deal that you would see in a GTA game. But the other big reason this is so lauded is it's the realized promise of Geomod. So I'm probably going to have to explain what Geomod is. That is the underlying destruction technology that powers the entire franchise. And from the very first game, one of the big selling points of Red Faction has been you can destroy everything and anything. And let me tell you, that ended up being a big fat lie more often than not. Like Red Faction 1, yeah, you could destroy everything in the first level. And then when you got to the second level, everything was shrouded in metal that you couldn't blow up. Like, yeah.
Oh, come on! You can destroy everything except for the most common substance used in construction.
Right. That's basically what it amounted to.
To be fair, physics is hard.
Yeah. Geomod 2.0 is the realization of that promise, where, yeah, you can destroy pretty much anything, and it's dynamic as well. It doesn't, like, it's not pre-baked animations or anything, which makes for some hilarious interactions, let's just say. But yeah, it's like, if you can see a building, you can destroy it. Either using your trusty sledgehammer, explosives, the arc welder. And that's really what makes this game. Just the unprecedented levels of destruction. Like, even to this day, you don't see games having destructible environments like this.
I think the only one that was close was maybe Battlefield Bad Company.
Possibly. But, yeah. Like, and you can also drive vehicles. You can do various missions, demolitions, rescue missions. You are awarded influence points for getting rid of enemy structures and what have you. The storyline takes place about 50 years, if I'm remembering correctly, after Red Faction 2. Like, very briefly, the liberators of Red Faction 2 turned into the new dictatorship, and, well, you've got to get rid of them. Yeah, there's a lot more to it then, but let me just say Red Faction isn't... You're not really playing this for the story.
Well, I mean, cripes, in the first, 20 seconds your brother dies?
Yes. Yes, and you are immediately declared an enemy of the state for reasons.
Oh god, we've been together too long.
God, how long have we been working together? Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of the setup, the structure, what have you. There's a lot more to it, but we could be here all day talking about that stuff. Anyway, the music, yeah, it's there. Like,
it makes noises.
Yeah, it's one of those soundtracks that's fitting of the game, but I could not tell you a damn thing about it. Now, kind of the opposite of our last game, honestly.
Hmm.
Where I'm gonna be remembering Curse of the Moon soundtrack for a while. Now, that's kind of how it worked. That kind of how it worked in the AAA space by this point. Like,
Why are you putting money in the budget for music? You could be doing
It's
really big fancy graphics.
it's not so much. It's not that they're skimping on the music. It's everything's got to be Hollywood orchestra stuff.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, but I find much less memorable than the more quirky soundtracks.
hmm
It gets kind of samey after a while.
Yeah, it's like, but that is a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so pricing. If you didn't pick this game up, it's gonna run you $20. I'm like, and honestly, it's kind of hard to quantify how much of a value that is because Red Faction Guerrilla, you could pick up for like $5 or in a humble bundle. There were plenty of opportunities to pick this up dirt cheap. And here's the bad part about remastering games, especially on the digital storefronts. This is the current version of the game. Like, if you haven't bought the Steam version, you're shit out of luck. Like, this is the one that is on Steam. This is the one on, there was the PlayStation Store and what have you. I mean, the original version could have shown up on the Xbox One via backwards compatibility, but I'm not sure if they did that. Like, but it's something that's kind of immaterial to the process at hand, because you probably want this version because of the graphical fidelity upgrades. Though I will also say that comes with the hazard of having the file size being very, very large.
Unnecessarily large, honestly.
Not unnecessarily large, because we are dealing with textures that go up to 4K. Like, that's that is where the original version of Guerrilla is about 8.6 gigs. It is standard Xbox 360 game size, which was like one DVD. The new version, that is 24 gigs. Not ultra huge in today's landscape, believe it or not, when you've got games clocking in at 50 gigs or 150 gigs. I'm looking at you, Gears of War 4. Like, compression doesn't really exist anymore like it did.
I was more talking like for someone who doesn't want or need 4K textures. It's kind of dumb that they're kind of pushing them down our throat. It should be like an auxiliary download.
I think you might still get the Steam edition if you purchase Remastered. The point is, like, overall, there is no real point in having the old version around. So, off it goes into the ether. Like, this is a remastering in the very, very truest sense of the word. And, whether you agree with it or not, whether you agree with the new price or not, it is what it is. I can cite a lot worse in this field. Dark Souls Remastered. I'm looking at you. I will forever look at you and your horrible, horrible pricing. But, THQ Nordic is offering this at a super budget price for new releases. And also, if you already own the game, you got this. So,
you literally got this.
Yeah. I really don't have I can't rage too much of a stink about what they did with the pricing, considering how botched it can be. I'm like, so as far as the game itself, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Like, solid, solid game. Probably one of the better GTA styled open world games from that era. Like, honestly, I think I like this more than GTA 4. It's just, yeah, like its aesthetics. Um, if you're not into the AAA aesthetics, especially of the last generation, you're gonna have a hard time getting into this one. And I don't blame you. Like, usually I hate this look. Like, but I found the gameplay compelling enough to trudge onwards, happily, merrily, even. So, final thoughts from the panel here.
It's a game you can play.
Yeah, I didn't have much time to play this one, but it seems good if you're into that. I mean, GTA like games have never really been my thing, but this one, I guess being on Mars is enough of a hook to make it more interesting than it could be otherwise.
A terraformed Mars, no less.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
All right, so that'll about do it for this review and for the review session. The week ahead. Hang on, don't have my notes here. I hate when that happens. So bear with me. Just remember, we are having a very, very different schedule this week due to scheduling conflicts. It happens every so often, but in like our first show is on Wednesday. Yeah. Usually the first show is on the Tuesday, but that's on the second show is on the Thursday. Scheduling can be interesting sometimes. Anyway, coming up on our Wednesday show is HB Studios. They are doing a golf game called The Golf Club 2019.
Haha, I get it. It's because it's a club about golf, but also you play golf with clubs.
Yeah, featuring the PGA Tour. Like, they're really proud that they got the PGA license.
I would be too.
Yeah. And we'll be talking to Sean West, the I want to say the lead developer on it, or maybe the lead programmer. It's like, anyway, and that's happening at 7:00 on Wednesday because they're located in Nova Scotia. I'm like, yeah, our usual time of 9:30 would have been there 10 or 10:30. Like, I think they're a half an hour ahead.
I think that there is a full time zone east of Eastern, so.
Yeah, it's either a half an hour or an hour ahead, so it would have been later for them, like 10:30. So yeah, that wasn't working out. So we did 7:00 is kind of our early time, the earliest we can really go until like Galax here can't be a part of the show. So that worked out as well as it could. And on Thursday, July 19th, at the time of 11, the regular Euro time, just on a different day, because they couldn't make the Tuesday date, is Rick Vanner of the Game Creators. I think we meant like these are going to be our first like development tool interview. Like instead of a game, we're going to be talking about a software suite. We reviewed, I mentioned this before, but sometime back we reviewed a couple of games done in App Game Creator, and these are the people who put that out. And they've got like 3 other kits here, like one for RPGs and so on and so forth. So it's going to be an interesting, if very different interview than our usual. Like, I do hope we are up to the task. Like, but until then, I wish you good gaming.